Okay, so here I am working on a project, and so I thought it would be nice to simply just show something that I had to do already in a quick way. So here we have what is a standard React component. Now this is a React and Meteor site, but this component would look the same regardless. I'm exporting default class login layout and extends component. Now this component could be a functional stateless component. In fact, if you're using ESLint and the Airbnb config, which I am here, it's going to complain and say component should be written as a pure function. Now, if we were to select this, it would let us know simply in the GitHub repo why you would prefer a stateless component if you don't know. Basically, the rules are if you aren't using state or any of the life cycle methods, you should use a stateless component. So a stateless functional component is a more simple way of writing a React component that's going to benefit from future React performance optimizations because, of course, it doesn't need to use all of that extra stuff. In addition, you'll see in a second that there's a lot less React stuff. So if you are moving frameworks or something like that and are still using JSX, then this component will still be usable without any sort of React stuff. So let's get the conversion process underway. You'll notice I had a footer in here. I'm no longer using this footer. I'm going to delete that line just for transparency here. And what I want to do first, I'm going to pull out this export default just to make this other part a little bit more clear. I'm going to put that below my prop types down here. I'm just going to leave that here. Now, what I want to do is I want to turn this class into a constant variable. What we're building here is a function rather than a class. So the constant variable login layout is now going to needs to be a function. So let's delete this whole extends component and say is equal to, and right here we can do an arrow function. We can have the parentheses equals greater than, and then we can have brackets. And I'm going to hit enter. Now from this point forward, I'm going to choose what I want from here. Inside of this, because it's a function here, we do need a return statement. So let's cut out the entire return, but ignore the render. So because of that, let's get rid of all this extra stuff. Let's paste this in here. You can instantly see how more simple this is. This is just way easier to read. But in addition, it's just cutting out some of the fat that we don't need. It's making it a little bit more universal. Now we have login layout is now equal to the return of this. You'll notice though, if you were to try to do anything here, besides the fact that we're not exporting it yet, it would fail out because we don't have access to props. And so this .props no longer exists. To have access to props, we could access individual props. For instance, if we just wanted children, we could have the brackets, and using the new object syntax for ES 2015, we could say children in here and have access to simply children as a variable itself. But you'll notice I'm also passing in props, this .props here. So let's get rid of this children, and inside of here, instead of the brackets, let's just say props. We now have access to props, and we no longer need this. So you can write your props just like before, props.children, ... props, passing those in here, or literally whatever you could possibly have inside of your component here. Now, if you were to have interactions like on-click things and stuff like that that aren't setting state, what you would actually be doing is having those as functions outside of your component, and then when you would call them with the on-click, you would not have to use this because it's obviously not referencing the same class that you're in. It's referencing just a standard function. Now, in addition, we could also export this layout. So I'm going to copy and paste this, export default login layout. Okay. Now ESLint is going to complain about some things, obviously other than the trailing spaces, and I'll show you that in a second. But this right here, this is your React functional stateless component. The cool news is this can get more simple. Like this isn't the limit here, because we're only returning one thing, right? If you were to have some logic, like if some stuff, return something else, then you would want to write it like this, with the brackets, with the return statement and everything. However, if you are only just returning one thing, this is simply just like a layout wrapper. I mean, this couldn't be any more simple of a component. Check this out. We can delete this. We can delete the return statement. We can delete that. And we can even delete these parentheses. Let's tab this over so that it fits the tab spacing correctly. Save this. And what we now have here is a really simple component. And you'll notice we're not using component anymore. We don't need that. And what we have here is a functional stateless component. Keep in mind, if you need to use state, if you need to use lifecycle like component did mount or anything like that, then you can't use this syntax. However, this is a great way to really simplify your components, and in the future, you're going to take part in some really nice performance benefits courtesy of React. So basically, this is the way you're going to want to write your components if you can. Not to say there's anything wrong with state or lifecycle methods or anything like that, because many of your components are still going to use that. But for the simple ones, check it out. This is just really super nice. Okay, so I'm just trying something new out here. This is basically some code I was writing anyways, and felt like it would make a nice little snippet video. So now if you're wondering about this React clone element stuff, now this would be as simple as just outputting our props.children. However, because I need to pass in props to the props.children, I had to do it with this React clone element business. If you know of a different syntax to do that that's less verbose or maybe better, let me know. This is just what I saw in Stack Overflow, so just a heads up there. If you like this kind of thing, this free, short, quick little video, let me know. I'm going to keep on doing these as I work here, and anytime I see something that might be of interest, I will post it up in this series. But again, as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you like this content, head over to store.leveluptutorials.com and help support this channel by purchasing either a subscription or some of the paid series available there. It'll help produce more free videos like this explaining key concepts in important frameworks. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.